My name is Bartolo Longo. I once served Satan. It is not easy to say this, but I will not hide it, because my story begins there. A story of Our Lady reaching out her hand in the darkest of places, and of how my life changed when I took it. I was born in 1841 near Naples, Italy. I came from a Catholic family. In my childhood, I had faith. I knew the Rosary. I prayed. Then I went to university. There I met friends who had changed. They were clever, eloquent, worldly. They mocked religion. They mocked priests. They mocked prayer. I began to mock alongside them. It felt like the smarter thing to do. And one day, they led me somewhere. It was a séance, a ritual to summon Satan. At first, it was mere curiosity. I told myself I was only watching. But once became twice, and twice became 10 times. And at some point, I was ordained among them as a priest of Satan. I was 25 years old. You cannot know what it is to serve Satan. I can. At first, it felt like freedom. A life without God, without sin, without conscience. It seemed as though there was nothing left to fear. But as time went on, something strange happened. Fear came. I could not sleep at night. My hands trembled without reason. Even alone in a room, I did not feel alone. Something was beside me, not warm, but cold and dark, clinging to me. Evil has no warmth. That is what I learned. I began to collapse mentally, spiritually. I slept and woke exhausted. I ate and remained hungry. I laughed and felt no joy. Life felt hollow. Around that time, a priest who had taught me in my youth came to find me, Father Alberto Radogna. He looked at me and said one thing, "Bartolomeo, your eyes have gone out." I said nothing. There was nothing to say. He sat with me for a long time, not preaching, just talking. What kind of boy I had been. How faithfully my mother had prayed for me. How joyful I was the day I received my first communion. As he spoke, I wept. I could not remember the last time I had wept. Those who serve Satan do not weep. To weep, the heart must be open, and in that world, you close your heart to survive. Then Father Radogna said, "Bartolomeo, God has not abandoned you. It is you who left, not God." That night, I knelt. For the first time in a very long time. After my conversion, life began again. But it was not easy. The memories of what I had served would not leave. What I had done came back to me. Self-reproach came in waves. One day, I even thought, can someone like me be saved? I had gone too far, gone too deep. Could God receive me, a man who had been a priest of Satan? That question crushed me. It was 1875. I was asked to travel to a small town near Naples, Pompeii, to teach catechism to poor children there. I went reluctantly. What right did I have to teach faith to children? But I went. That village changed my life. Pompeii was desolate. Not the ancient city destroyed by the volcano, but a new settlement nearby. It was poor. Gambling was everywhere. Feuds and quarrels never ceased. Children roamed the streets. The church was in ruins. I stood there and thought, there is a place more hopeless than I am. I returned to Naples and sought out a Dominican priest. Was there any way to help this village? He gave me an old, battered painting of the Rosary carried in on the back of a cart, crumpled and faded. It depicted Our Lady with St. Dominic and St. Catherine. I took that painting back to Pompeii. On the road that day, carrying the worn image, something reached my ears. A voice. Even now I cannot say how to explain it. It was not a hallucination. It was not something rising from within me. It simply came. He who spreads the Rosary will be saved. That was all. I stopped where I stood. My heart pounded. Tears came. I did not understand then why I wept. Now I do. It was the answer to the question I had feared most. Can someone like me be saved? He who spreads the Rosary will be saved. Even a priest of Satan could become someone who spreads Our Lady's Rosary. Even one who came from the deepest darkness could carry that light. That is what Our Lady was saying. I began to walk again. This time my steps were different. Part 6, it began with one worn painting. I hung it on the crumbling wall of Pompeii's ruined chapel. I taught the children the Rosary. I taught the adults too. At first, no one paid attention. The people of that town were weary of faith or had lost it long ago. But I did not stop. And then things began to happen. Families who took up the Rosary found their quarrels fading. A man lost to gambling came home. The sick recovered. A child's seizures ceased. Word spread. People began to pick up their beads. The word miracle began to circulate. I recorded each one carefully with the names of witnesses, concealing nothing, exaggerating nothing, only what was. And where that worn painting had hung, as the years passed, a great basilica rose. The Basilica of Our Lady of the Rosary of Pompeii. That place, where pilgrims from across the world still come today, it all began with one battered painting carried on the back of a donkey. I wish to confess something here. I did not build the shrine. I only walked with an old painting in my hands. I only taught children to pray the Rosary. I only refused to stop. It was Our Lady who built the shrine. And it was Our Lady who chose to use someone like me, a man who had served Satan, a man who came from the darkest place, and perhaps for that very reason, a man who could be the most desperate. God does not use only the clean. He uses the broken too, because it is through the broken places that light enters. Let me ask you something. Do you feel you have gone too far? That you have not prayed for too long? That you have strayed too much? Sunk too deep? That it would be shameful to pick up the Rosary now? I know that feeling. When I, a priest of Satan, went to Pompeii to teach the Rosary, that was exactly what I felt. What right do I have? But Our Lady said he who spreads the Rosary will be saved. She did not ask for credentials. She did not demand an accounting of the past. She simply said, take the Rosary and spread it. You can spread it too. You need not go far. Placing a Rosary in your child's hands that is spreading it, praying 1 decade together in the evening that is spreading it, sending this video to someone you know that too is spreading it. A great basilica rose from one worn painting. What miracle might begin from your small hand, I cannot say. But Our Lady knows. I passed from this world in 1926 at the age of 85. I never left Pompeii until the end. I cared for poor children at the shrine. I built a home for orphans. I taught the Rosary. In my final moments, what was I holding? A Rosary. From that first day, I knelt before the worn painting brought in on a donkey's back. To the moment I closed my eyes, the Rosary never left my hand. From priest of Satan to servant of Our Lady. There is only one reason I was able to walk that road. There was one who reached out a hand and I took it. Take that hand. Right now, wherever you are, whatever past you carry, a hand holding the Rosary is never turned away. Not at Hiroshima, not at Lepanto, not at Pompeii, and not tonight in whatever room you're in. May the intercession of Our Lady of Fatima and the peace of the Lord be with you. Amen.